Kane and welcome to Ask Gareth. The idea here, as always, is very, very simple. You ask me questions about green business, sustainability, corporate social responsibility, and I do my best to answer them. The clue is in the name. And the question this time is another corker. You've been sending me through some great questions recently, and this is one of the best, I have to say. It comes from Robert Spencer of the engineering company AECOM. And it goes, Dear Gareth, it would be great to hear your thoughts on how machine learning and AI will start interacting with the sustainability agenda. I see some big win-wins around big data. Well, yes, big data. One of the big hype topics. I get a little bit cynical sometimes about some of these hype topics because, everybody starts talking about mindfulness and then mindfulness is the key to everything and then that fades away and then some, techno people start talking about the Internet of Things and different bits and pieces of that will happen. And then big data has been, bandied about for some years. And a lot of people don't really know what it is. But my favourite definition, I think, of big data is around 3 V's. And the 3 V's are, and I'll read them, volume, velocity, and variety. Volume, just the sheer amount of data you're getting. Velocity, this idea that it changes and changes rapidly. And variety, you have to be able to take data from different sources in different formats and make sense of them. So you're sort of having to compare apples and oranges sometimes and come up with some sensible conclusion. Because of those challenges, of course, this goes hand in hand with some form of artificial intelligence, machine learning. And, back about 25 years ago, I did quite a bit of work on neural networks and artificial intelligence and whatnot. But, it's remarkable how far that's come on since. You only have to ask your smartphone, hey Siri, how intelligent are you?
Well, when I was at school, I had to cheat on my metaphysics exam by looking into the soul of the boy next to me.
Yes, so we've not only created reasonably intelligent technology, we have created reasonably intelligent and sarcastic technology. Okay, so where are the opportunities between big data, artificial intelligence, and sustainability? Well, I see 3. First of all, environmental monitoring. The obvious one's climate change, the mother of all big data problems. You've got sensors all around the world measuring all sorts of different things. And you have to try and make some sense of that to predict which way the world is going, both in terms of the warming and how it reacts to the warming, and then what the impact of that is going to be on humankind and how much we have to adapt to it. So it's a very, very important issue, and that there's a huge amount of work going in on that, and it's absolutely essential that we get it right. And it's not just climate change, of course. There's things like deforestation and water resources, where you can start to use lots of pieces of information linking together the weather patterns, information from the ground, usage and sort of demographic issues as well, and start to combine those together to predict the best way to start conserving some of those resources. So the second area is sort of within an organization, and it's all about replacing resources with data. Because data generally has a minimal environmental impact. So if you can use data in an intelligent way to cut resource use, then that's a big benefit. A very simple example would be the Nest thermostat, which learns your day-to-day routine and adjusts your central heating to match that. So instead of you going, well, if I switch it on about 6:30, then it will be warm enough in the house when it gets to 7 o'clock, or whatever that might be, the thermostat works all that out for you, so you're not just doing trial and error. It's constantly, every day, refining its timing to make it the most efficient way of delivering your heating to you, which is absolutely fantastic. And obviously you can scale that up to quite complex industrial systems as well. Now, there's also the whole issue of trying to make sense of a lot of big data sets that corporations generate, and I'm thinking things like supply chain management, where often companies are accused of collecting huge amounts of data from their suppliers and their suppliers and their suppliers, getting it all together and then not doing anything with it. Well, there is the opportunity for intelligent interrogation of that information to identify key risks, identify key impacts, and then start to make intelligence decisions on the basis of them. And if we expand just from supply chain management, of course, you've got life cycle assessment, where the big problem, everybody thinks life cycle assessment's a good thing, but the big problem is you generate huge amounts of information and it's very dependent, the results are very dependent on the quality of that information and assumptions you make over the life cycle, particularly the use phase of whatever product you're doing the assessment on. So if you start to get some feedback from your how your product is actually being used, say your new electric car, whatever it might be, then you could feed that back into the system in real time and start to adjust the design to meet those real world information rather than just working on the predictions you've made at the start of your study. So there's a huge number of opportunities there within the sort of corporate arena. But the third and most important area, I think, is enabling the wider sustainability economy. So scaling up a level above that. Just some simple examples. Smart grid being the most obvious one. We're already moving from the sort of monthly metering that we have in our homes to a 15-minute metering, which creates a huge amount more data. Then the challenge is going to be, as our renewable energy systems continue to ramp up, to use information about the predicted amount of supply and the predicted amount of demand from all that huge amount of data, of how to match the two together and factor in some storage issues as well. So that's a massive opportunity. Second one, let's think about the circular economy, which everybody's talking about at the minute. It's very, very important for a sustainable system. And there, you're not only having the logistics of getting all your products out into the marketplace, you've got the reverse logistics of getting them all back again. So if you can link supply information, demand information over time and geography, then you can start to plan that reverse logistics in the most efficient way to get maximum number of resources back into the start of the system. The third issue is smart cities, another buzz term, and most smart cities sort of progress has been in transportation. So if you start to look at traffic patterns coming into the city in particular days, you can start to adjust both your traffic control systems and maybe even incentives for public transport to maximize the efficiency of those transport systems. But not only transport, you can also look at waste management, water supply, energy supply, other resources within the sort of urban frame, and start to get more sustainability going on that sort of local level if you can use that information correctly. And there's some really big figures being bandied about for some of these areas. The smart grid market is already thought to be $40 billion, but is expected to rise to trillions. McKinsey reckons that the circular economy is going to be worth $1 trillion by 2025. And Arup says the global market for smart urban services will be $400 billion a year by 2020. So some massive business opportunities for those companies who can embrace this opportunity and deliver some intelligent ways of gathering and interpreting all that big data. So that's a very swift run through, but the triple bottom line here is the hype is justified. Big data has the potential to unlock the opportunity to shape an economy in harmony with a very complex natural world. Okay, Robert, I hope that answers your question. Everybody's watching this. If you've got any comments, if you've disagreed with anything I say, if you see any problems, any opportunities, any examples you would like to share, stick them all in the comments below. I will answer every single one. If you found this video interesting, then please do share it with all your friends, colleagues, contacts, customers, whoever may benefit. And if you want every future edition of Ask Gareth, then please do go to www.terrainfirma.co.uk and sign up to the Low Carbon Agenda. That's my monthly email newsletter. It's completely free and it's got every edition of Ask Gareth and a whole load of other stuff that you may find helpful. And finally, don't forget that whether you're facilitating incremental environmental changes in your organisation or making massive step changes towards sustainability of the kind we've been talking about today, it all counts. You're making the world a better place and you should be proud of that. Till next time, goodbye.